Now, sometimes when men are living in the ordinary world, they live in a kind of an artificial C note, like that. Occasionally get a G or something. Where we've been the last 2 days is in the area of loss. How much loss there's been in different ways, which I'll mention in a couple of minutes. It's more like that. And when a whole bunch of men are feeling it, it makes you go inside in a certain way, doesn't it? I think when I felt this as a child, I wanted to go into the woods alone. But it's an emotion of loss. It's not itself feeling. There's too much passivity in it to be feeling. Does that make any sense to you? Today is the 3rd day now. So we have some chance for feeling now. Feeling goes more like... At least that's the way it goes with me. I can't go from this to that. If I'm going to be lost here and do anything, I've got to go consciously into my own grief. So that's sometimes described as a movement down. Mankind owns 4 things that are no good at sea: rudder, anchor, oars, and the fear of going down. So we've talked about the difference between grief and depression. Depression is where you stay here in the lost, and you feel vulnerable and helpless, and you feel how much has been lost in your life. There's no purpose in it. There's no passion in it. Is that right? When you're in depression?
You commented that Blake was there for 12 years.
Yeah, we don't know where he was for 12 years. He was somewhere. My guess is that his father was like that one we showed up here. And he lived creatively for a number of years ignoring that one and finally couldn't ignore it anymore. Am I saying anything to you? Nobody knows anything about his life. He never mentions his father. That's strange in itself. So my guess is that's his father you're looking at up there. And that one got him. And that's all right. That's okay. Because what did Pound say? You're not going to get through hell in a hurry. You're not going to get through hell in a hurry. So if your father didn't get you, you hire a woman to do it. And sometimes it's slower. It can be 20 years that way. And you're married and have kids, you still are there. She beats up on you regularly, and you pay her for it. Support her.
Is he distinguishing between loss and grief?
Well, let's just take depression and grief. Depression, you can say, is passive. It belongs in the victim area. Somebody did it to me. You're angry at things that have happened to you. But who did it and exactly what is not brought to the surface. And therefore, in a way, there's implied in all of our lives is a refusal to go down into masculine grief. Therefore, in depression, you can say a hand comes up from underneath and pulls you down. Because you got to be down. That's the way it is on this planet. You got to be down somewhere, sometime. And if you don't choose it, the hand up out of it will choose it. And then you don't know when you're going to get out either. Is this true? I fall into depression, and then I have the sense that my God has completely changed now. And this is the way it's going to be to the end of my life. I don't want my friends to see me because everything I say is dull and boring. So then I start to separate myself out, and you know that whole thing. And all your body processes slow down, and you lose your eros completely, and your libido, and then all of a sudden one morning it's gone. Bam! That is so weird. But grief is a different process. Grief has activity in it, in which you use your energy that men have had as hunters for thousands of years. And instead of going out to that world and hunting out there, you go down and hunt inside your childhood in various places. Now, James, warns about getting caught down there and imagining that that's all there is, and so on and so on. But there's dangers to every action. But for some of you who haven't done that yet, it's supremely important to take that activity and that energy you have as a man and go down and work in that area there. So that the earliest statue found of a male god was found in Romania and is a beautiful little black basalt figure which appears with the figure of the Great Mother. And Jim Budas, who in her book Pre-European Gods or Prehistorical Gods of Europe, calls it the sorrowful male. It's beautiful, bent over, beautifully sour. Not depressed, sorrowing. So therefore the strange implication is that the only real power you have against the Great Mother, or the power that males have, which is as strong as the power of the Great Mother, is their ability to descend in grief.
I think that hand is an invitation.
What?
I think the hand pulling down is an invitation.
Well, it's an invitation, and it's also a motion of disgust, because you didn't go down yourself.
I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I mean, my sense is that hand is an invitation, so that I could turn towards that, and that's fine. I mean, it's like someone pat me on the shoulder.
That's nice.
That.
I agree. It's like the dog going down in the Iron John story. The difference is that that when you go down in depression, the experience is relatively unpleasant or victimized. And it doesn't encourage you to go down. In fact, there's a whole bunch of uppers so that people don't go down. And so what I'm saying is that when you make that distinction clearly and you stop being so passive, then you go down yourself and you'll find it a nourishing experience.
Robert, I don't think it's an invitation. That hand is an enemy. It's not a friend.
Okay.
I saw my dad just get absolutely crushed, ground up when that hand came up. And I know he ignored it. He didn't know what it was, but it wasn't a friend.
Okay, we got a nice conflict here. You two guys go off in the corner and fight, will you? Physically. All right. Yeah, quickly, Win.
I'm hearing both of them. Well, what about depression moving into grief? I mean, how does that work?
Depression moving into grief.
I mean, if the hand comes up and draws you down, then how can there be a movement into grief at that point?
I don't think there can be. You got to come back up again before you go down. And Blake had to wait 12 years. Or whatever it was, we don't know. Are you ready? I want to go on here a little bit.